Hey everyone, welcome to the Sky Zone podcast. I'm Carlos Gomez. That's Jack Kasperzak.
I know, it's like you don't know who I am. I've been gone for so long.
Oh, whoa. I have so many windows open with the. So I was talking to myself, introducing you like 2-3 times. But I always find it hilarious when people have been on the show multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, oh yeah, and Jack. They're like, who?
Come on now.
It's happened a few times.
I know it has. There's a few people I just never even met.
Well, that's just the price of success, or of being a responsible adult with a with a very nice job. So go ahead, Jack Israel. I told you, Noel on the chat. Told you, Noel. He's real.
Already. People don't believe I exist. I'm an AI that you've programmed to come on.
That's right. So if you guys want to interact with us, obviously we have the chat there. But if we're not online, you can use the Sketch Zone hotline. That's 408-753-8248. 408-SKETCH-8. International callers, please use 011-408-753-8248. So let's go ahead and get this party started. So what we do sometimes is, if it's only going to be me and Jack, what we do is we'll do a drawing episode, and it seems to be a really nice. Plus, I'm eating popcorn, so it seems to be a fan favorite when we do these, and so we're going to try to do these. Not every week, but we'll try to do these a little more regularly. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the fun prompt.
Let's go up to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
I love it when you're around.
Oh yeah, what happened when I was gone? No music at all?
There was one week I tried to do it myself and I stumbled all over myself.
That's too much for one person.
I don't have that. I don't have the Bob Ross.
I gotta send it to you.
What you call it? And then last week especially, we had Marco Bucci, and I was so flustered with trying to get everything right that I called him Marco. I started calling him Marco Rubio.
How'd that go?
Oh, as I was saying Ruby, I was like, no. So that's why the last week's show is called not Marco Rubino. But then he helped us. Marco helped us pick out this fun prompt, which when it was picked, everyone was like, what in the actual... So we did white human paramedic roaming productively.
I almost feel like it's so specific that it's hard for people to get into.
Wow. However, this first one that we're going to see, I think, is such a wonderfully clever solution to the problem.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Bad Art Corner. So if you're listening on iTunes, there's a little adventure up on this cliff. There's two alligators, and the one alligator says, crap, Arnold is choking on a zebra. If only they were a roaming paramedic that was being productive in his chosen field or something like that around here. It's so good. When I saw this one, I busted out laughing, and I was excited.
It's very Far Side or Bizarro.
Yeah, it's so good. And then the only other one is yours truly. There's a very productive paramedic cutting the grass.
She's got a. Never mind. I'm not.
She's super enthusiastic. What are you gonna say? She got a what?
I don't want to ruin your drawing, but the little symbol on her armband is like borderline KKK.
Oh man, that's true. That's true. I was like, we're just gonna put a cross on here because she saves lives. But instead she's cutting grass in order to burn a cross.
She's preparing the lawn. Well, she is a white human.
For the record, I did not think it all the way through. It's supposed to be a cross with a circle. So there we have it. Thank you, Bad Art Corner. That's bad_art_corner.
Quiet week.
Very quietly. That one was challenging. So now the question is, do we want to go back to Steven Silver's app? Or do we want to do one that's a little different?
We got a different one?
I'm digging the app because
I think we just got to pick some different categories or something.
Yeah. But now I don't know where it went. Finely tuned machine. Entertainment machine. Okay, here we go. Just so you guys see.
It's reflective. I don't see anything. There we go.
Built
Made in Unity.
Yeah, that's right. So I believe Charlie got stuck at work. Okay, so we have a character, gender, outfit, action, and then there's obviously like art style, not obviously, but there's art style, height, body type, age, expression 1, 2, and 3. So I'm thinking I'm going to turn off gender, just because I think it's a little more fun when you can just go with whatever. Anything make sense to you? An outfit, an action?
Action is okay.
Let's turn off outfit. Let's do body type just for kicks.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll turn on expression 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll figure out how deep we want to go. If we don't want to do any of them, then we got the power. Okay, so let me turn those on. All right, ready? So we have a character, an action, body type, and 3 expressions. Ready?
So do the expressions compete? I'm not following. We'll have to see what it does.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, so we have... Okay, no, let's not do that. It's a white human. Come on. Ooh, a swamp monster.
Here we go. Okay.
Shoveling snow. Average body type.
See, I don't think we need the body type.
No, especially not with the swamp monster. Threatened, benevolent, tender are the 3 expressions. How about we do this? How about we do an average swamp monster shoveling snow?
A what? An average...
We don't even know because we said that we weren't going to do average. So we're going to do, how about swamp monster shoveling snow?
Yeah, I dig that.
Cool. That's it.
Swamp monster shoveling snow.
Noelle said at least she doesn't have a hood. My grass cutting paramedic. She might in the car.
She does when she's not in public.
All right. So with that, let's do a swamp monster shoveling snow.
All right.
Cool. So if there's anyone that's watching that feels like joining us, please feel free to hit us up and we will draw along. But you got to draw along. You can't just be disruptive. You know. So, like I said, we are a fine-tuned art machine. All right. So before I start sharing my screen, what application are you going to use for this?
I think I might go to Sketchbook.
Oh, I was gonna do that too. Noel said, "Okay, I'll be good." So cool. So before we start sharing, we have an announcement.
We do. We have wait.
Announcement Watch 2018. Oh, hang on. Dave sent a photo. Dave Etsy would be fun to have on the show too.
Sure, we haven't had him on in ages.
Oh, he's watching live. Dave, you want to come and join us?
Draw a swamp monster?
Come draw a swamp monster with us. So, as you guys know, a few weeks ago, we were talking to the young and lovely Eva Sawinski from, actually, her Instagram name is Critterosity. And she's super active. But she also started the Ground Zero Animation Expo. And our friend, Chris Wimberly, is very active in that community as well. And Sketchzone is officially a sponsor for Ground Zero Animation Expo. Woohoo! That's right. Because I like the movement. I like, I'll probably end up going to CTN as well. But got you on the big screen today. Dave, stop watching and participate, please. So yeah, I thought I'm a huge fan of people that work for themselves and get things moving. You know, and she and I had a conversation where, as I choke on popcorn, we had a conversation where she was explaining her push and she's a go-getter. And then she actually talked about how she understood when she moved to LA, she understood that it was going to be an uphill climb for you or for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Dave Etsy said, "I'm not set up in the office to join in, but I'll draw along." Comment in the chat. Hi, Dave. So what? So she talked about how, yeah, I understand that I'm not going to be a Disney animator and do all that cool stuff, but that doesn't mean that she can't have the passion for it. It doesn't mean that she doesn't get to create art for a living. And it's that kind of stuff that now it doesn't even matter. I'm a huge fan of hers and anyone associated to her. I just love that. Because I think I'm in the same boat. And it's cool to see people just saying, look, I'm gonna continue to be creative. I'm gonna continue to make art, and I'm gonna continue to make a living off of my art. I'm a huge fan. So anything that I can do, I help.
Yeah.
Or try to.
I dig. So is that the only news we've got?
I
feel like there might be something else kind of related to that.
The fact that we're tabling?
Yeah. We're gonna be there.
That's right.
At the ground zero.
Yeah. So if you are watching this on YouTube, Charlie's not here, so we're not on Twitch right now, but we usually do stream on Twitch. So if you're going to be in the LA area, lots of us in that boat. Great advice and mindset. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so if you're going to be in Orange County in June, I believe it is.
Yes, it is June.
Yeah, so it's going to be in Stanton, California, June 9th and 10th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's free for folks to come and hang out, and they have there's classes and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure, or sessions. I'm not exactly sure how that works. You might have to pay for some of those things, but to go in and see the artwork and hang out with people that speak the same language, I think it's super important.
Yeah, and with all the hubbub about the ongoing conventions, there's some controversy with some of them and competitors. It's nice. I'm all for more of them, and ones that hang on, especially founded by folks that are making stuff happen from grassroots and like you were talking about. But hey, if it's free to the folks who are trying to get in and learn something and meet some people, I think that's great. Like I said, it starts to get a little crazy when some of these conventions charge $100, $200, $300 to get in on the floor.
Yeah. And even then, even if they did, I think the focus, and I think now that we're talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get to drawing. But I think hey, Shiloh's here.
Hey, Charlie, you should come on and draw. You wouldn't even have to show your face.
There you go. Say something.
Say something.
Okay, no, I'm not. There we go. All right, cool. Because sometimes when I share my screen, my screen takes up the whole camera. So then if you go to talk, people can't see you. So I wanted to make sure that it was swapping back and forth. Now, what's funny is we both have Sketchbook Pro, so it's going to look like...
My little dots are in a different spot than yours.
Hang on. I'm going to move mine just to mess with people. People are going to be like, look, Carlos can finally draw.
Now.
But I think what folks need to do, especially if you're a young animator, young artist, I think it's important to not go into these things, into these conferences or expos expecting anything except just FaceTime with some really cool people.
Yeah.
Because then that way you're not let down.
Well, I think, yeah, and I think that's one of my issues with some of the bigger conventions is that there's this I won't even say misunderstanding, but there's this expectation that, you know, the biggest of the big folks are there, and they're either walking around themselves, they're tabling, or they're doing some sort of class or demo or speech, and that by going, you're going to get, you know, firsthand connection with somebody really great, really important. That's either going to get you a job or going to give you some kind of great info. And the reality is that's just not really, you know, it's more like going to some, you know, political event where you're seeing someone from afar. You know, I mean, you might run into somebody on walking around, and you might, you know, if it's somebody that you like that's tabling, you have a pretty good chance of chatting with them. But, you know, they're busy and they're there and they're trying to sell stuff. And there's just so many people there. And, you know, I think something like this, where the focus really is about networking, you know, like CTN is a little bit like this. I know some of the other really small ones tend to be focused really on networking.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that, you know, with that in mind, networking in mind, and that, you know, being free to students, and, well, it's free to the public, isn't it? Is everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. That it'll be just a good chance to have a diverse amount of, you know, diverse group of folks kind of walking around doing their thing. And it seems like, you know, it'll be a pretty good opportunity to kind of network. It seems like it's set up in a way that there should be. Well, I know that the Sketch Zone, you know, exhibit. we've got some ideas in the works that's going to help with that. So we're hoping to not only network with you, but have you guys network with other folks and participate along with some cool stuff. So.
Just like Noel in the chat said, embrace the experience and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, I know that they're going to have like portfolio reviews and all that stuff. That stuff is super important if you're trying to break into the industry, because you could be drawing, and you may find out that you're just drawing the wrong stuff. Something as simple as that.
You're just drawing the wrong stuff. Huh. All right, I gotta think of a concept for the swamp monster.
I know.
Shoveling snow. It's a little tougher than I initially thought.
Yeah. All right, so we have a swamp monster shoveling snow. Swamps don't necessarily live, or it doesn't usually snow where there's a swamp.
Right. That's the tricky part, combining these two types of environments, I think.
Unless, oh, here we go. What if I got my initial idea. I have to remember what it looks like though. Let's see. Because for those of you that don't really know, Florida is a swamp. The entire state of Florida is a swamp. And it doesn't usually snow down there. However, whenever you go to visit Florida, you get these really funny snow globes out there. was going to say something else. Oh yeah, about CT. Well, Mother Nature lost her mind if a swamp gets snow. I know. Yeah, Noel. That's funny. I wanted to get back onto the whole Ground Zero and what's the other one? CTN.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it does, as long as you're not going broke trying to go to these things, you should still go. Just because, again, for as technologically advanced as we've gotten, people still like FaceTime. They still like seeing each other. They still like shaking hands and hanging out and having a cup of coffee and stuff. So think about that. You know, just as long as it's not you're trying to make a decision, do I go to Orange County and hang out with people, or do I buy this sandwich? You should, should think about eating.
Yeah, we're not trying to not trying to condone people starving.
No, I mean, not for anything, but if you come to Ground Zero and you hang out with us, it's going to be a ball. You're going to forget about eating. But
we might even give you a sandwich.
Easy.
We were just talking about Carlos's sandwiches.
That's true. Yeah, my sandwiches. I took a few sandwiches around town today. So for those of you guys that are following me on Instagram, you'll see that I taught myself how to make Cuban sandwiches. So I make the bread from scratch. I roast the pork shoulder, but that's about it. And there's a Cuban sandwich has this really good Cuban bread. It has mustard, it has Swiss cheese, it has ham, it has roasted pork, it has dill pickles on there. Yeah, I make my own bread. Yeah, it's a thing. Noah says I learn how to make edible art. My sandwiches are pretty artistic. They are fantastic. So anyway, so I made some sandwiches, and I took them to a couple of my friends that are around town here. And everyone that had a sandwich today told me to start a food truck. So you might get a sandwich. You might not.
So you might get a sandwich.
But you
should have.
But you might not.
You might get a sandwich.
We went off on a sandwich tangent. Oh yeah, because I made the joke about if you come to hang out with us, you're probably gonna forget about eating because we're like heroin.
It's an interesting comparison.
No. Here, let me crop this. 10:35. And then I wanted to touch on this too, because for some reason it just seems like whenever you talk about CTN, you automatically compare it to Ground Zero and then back all over again.
This is true. It's hard not to compare the different conventions.
Yeah, and I mean, they're essentially kind of the same thing. But I mean, if you think about that, You're like Reuben from Lilo and Stitch. I haven't learned how to make Reubens. That's another really tasty sandwich. But no, if you think about it, if someone creates something and then everyone else is like, oh, it's okay, it's too late. I can't do my own version of this. Then it would be a really boring world because we would have nothing but Disney. We wouldn't have Warner Brothers. We would have nothing but Chevys. We would have, what about all the nice Fords and all the Hondas and stuff, right? So experiment who made the sandwiches. Yeah, so the thing is, you're going to go to CTN and experience that, and everything is going to be fun, and you're going to meet people. And then the same thing is going to happen at Ground Zero. So it's a win-win situation. So even if you are a professional, you should still think about going to both, because they're both completely badass. I'm excited about Ground Zero. I've never been.
I haven't either, yeah. This will be not only the first time going, it'll be the first time exhibiting. It'll be good fun.
That's right. Okay. So you went to India.
I did. I went to India and Thailand.
Yeah.
For work. Yeah.
Can you talk much about that?
Yes and no. I mean, I can talk. Yeah. I can talk a little bit in general vagueness.
Yeah. I won't ask you about the project or anything. I'll just ask you what was it like? Are there animation studios like ours?
Yeah. Yes and no. I've worked at enough different places and have been doing enough different places to have a pretty decent comparison at this point. I would, and granted, obviously, I only visited once, well, technically two in Thailand, but I signed an NDA at the one, and I can't talk about it. I'm just kidding. No, but technically, I'm just visiting one studio in each place, so I didn't get like a full grasp of the range of studios. But DreamWorks works with, and this is all public knowledge, you can see it in the credits and you can see the artists and who did what. We work with Technicolor in India. They're based in Bangalore, which is a massive city. I couldn't tell you what the population is. Let me look it up. But it's, man, anybody who has never been, let's see, it is 12 million people. That's like almost 3 times as big as LA.
Damn.
Well, 2.5 times. Yeah, it's a crazy crowded place. I've been to European countries, and European cities like Paris and London. Those are all pretty dense and crowded, but man, there's nothing like an Asian country, man. These Asian countries are just so crowded, and the thing that stuns me the most is the traffic, man. People like to complain about LA traffic or Chicago traffic or New York traffic, but man, Bangalore is like, I don't even know how. The only thing we've ever been able to come up with is calling it controlled chaos, because it's surprisingly somewhat efficient, for how many people are on the roads and how many vehicles there are. It does somehow work. I mean, obviously they have major issues and they need to expand their transportation infrastructure, and traffic times take some of these guys two hours to get to work. So it's certainly not ideal, but given the fact that there's 12 million people in there, and when you get in a car or one of these, they call them tuk-tuks, those little taxis that are kind of like auto rickshaws,
Yeah.
It's just the amount of people on the street and the way they drive, it's like, well, Bangalore particularly, it's totally different in Thailand, but Bangalore particularly, it's like there's no stop signs anywhere. There's very few lights. Like almost every single intersection is uncontrolled. So it's like people just sort of cross through and merge and zigzag and kind of work their way around the opposing traffic in this like really it's like I really don't know how to describe it other than controlled chaos. It's crazy. Like people and people will just like run out in the middle of the street and like they'll work their way. Oh, and then you also got to realize that because it's definitely not a third world country, but there are a lot of third world aspects to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of poverty, which is kind of hard to see. But there's a lot of like animals just like roaming the street. There's a ton of dogs. There's stray dogs. There's cows, because cows are generally considered sacred there. Though some people do eat beef, despite common misconceptions. So like. Some people have them as pets, but there's a lot of like stray cows that effectively just like wander the street like dogs, and they like eat off trash piles. And the thing is, they're so big, you know.
The dogs are?
The
cows. Oh.
You know, they're so big that, you know, they effectively, they can just stop traffic anytime they want. And the general respect for cows is, you know, that you don't really mess with them. So nobody's like getting out there and hitting them with their car or pushing them out of the way. You kind of wait until they get out of the way. So, yeah, it's a nutty, crazy, chaotic place. But Technicolor, the studio is pretty great. It's you know, very well established. They've been working on stuff for ages.
Yeah.
They've worked on with Nickelodeon and they've worked with DreamWorks. I think they've worked with Disney for a while. They did the Ninja Turtles, the most well, I don't think it's the most recent, but the fairly recent CG Ninja Turtles from Nickelodeon. Probably one of their more famous ones. Yeah, it's a big studio. It would kind of remind you of one of the larger studios here, like a Digital Domain or an ILM, and it has that kind of visual effects style feel to it. You know, it's a lot of people in rows and whatnot, a lot of computers and separated out by teams and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know how much more I can say aside from that, but it's a cool experience. It's a really good team. I like working with them. The food is great, but you got to be careful as an American. You got to be really careful. I got sick both times I went.
Oh no!
The first time was like knocking on death's door. It was really bad, and I did not have anything with me. You know, like a Cipro or what do you call antibiotic.
Yeah.
So I paid for that one for like a good 5 days straight.
Oh no.
This last time I got a little bit sick, but I had Cipro with me, and it was just like one night of feeling ill, and I was pretty good the next day.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the food's really good. It's really interesting, but yeah, you got to be careful of that, and the water particularly.
Yeah, that's the one that we take for granted here. And then we have the gumption to say, I don't want to drink the water from the faucet. I want to drink it from this bottle, this plastic bottle. Meanwhile, There's other people that are like, you might want to check that plastic bottle water because that's horrible too. Water's something that we completely take for granted here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. And then Thailand is like a totally different feel. Even though they're fairly close in proximity, you know, distance-wise, they certainly share some cultural similarities. It's a totally different place. I mean, night and day almost. The traffic is like shockingly orderly. It's kind of like I was noticing at some of the like even more orderly than here. I was noticing at some of the stoplights and intersections, like the cars all are in perfect alignment, and like they all stop with like almost nearly perfectly 4 feet between them and the car in front of them. It's all like, it's such a juxtaposition from India. And even, even the kind of the people and the creative and the work mentality is quite a bit different between the two.
I'm trying to remember Thailand. Yeah, Thailand is closer to like Singapore and stuff.
Yeah.
And Singapore is a place where if you spit on the ground, you might get a caning.
Yeah, I don't know that Thailand's quite like that, but yeah, there is definitely a sense of more of order and kind of. I don't know if I'd go so far as to like say a strictness in their respect for the law and whatnot, because obviously they're also fairly well known for some pretty awful stuff. So, it's kind of how do you put those two together in your mind, and they both work in the same place. But yeah, I did sense that in general, it was kind of a orderly culture and kind of general. Oh yeah, because we went to like a night market. They're really big on night markets there, whether it's like a food market, food based, or like a swap meet flea market there. And they have like or they have like more modern, like kind of hip ones that are clothes and crafts and stuff. They're just really into market. In general, the culture there's really into shopping. I mean, you ask people like what's something to do that locals like, and generally in almost every other country, if you say go to a mall, that's like the tourist thing. But in Thailand, they love their malls. Like the mall is like it's socializing thing. There's so much there. There's one that has like a massive aquarium in it. That's like one of the largest in Southeast Asia. It's aquarium in the mall. That's
bananas.
Yeah. So yeah, they're really into their shopping. So these night markets are like such a thing. So we were at this night market, and I was noticing that, back to the whole orderly thing, even though the place was packed, I mean, you go down these aisles of vendors, and there's just like, you're surrounded in the near proximity by like 30, 40 people. Like it's just packed, in each. But what I was noticing was like nobody touched each other. Like nobody's shoulders rubbed. Nobody was pushing anybody. Like it was really dense, but people were strangely respectful of like a personal space and kind of maneuvering around other people as to not even like bump them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting because the U.S. is pretty big on our personal space, but it's not even like that here. You get in a crowded space and you're definitely going to be like jamming elbows with people.
Go to Costco on a Sunday afternoon.
God, man.
When they start giving away the free cheese, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got some time to get out of the city and go head south of Thailand and hit some beaches and some islands, which are just ridiculously crazy.
I saw one of the pictures that you had posted. It was like you were having breakfast right on the side of a cliff or something.
Yeah. So this story is actually really pretty good because I'm a pretty well experienced traveler, but I haven't really been doing like kind of remote and or like third world countries, except for like in the past 3 years. Pretty much everything I've done since then has been Europe or like kind of fairly well established, but with the exception of Mexico. I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, but so like this I mean, I think this story is pretty adventurous for most travelers, but it was really adventurous for me, and it's like really bizarre and funny the way that it panned out. So we we decided we're gonna go south to this area called Krabi, Krabi. And it's like the southern part of Thailand, and so we only had like the weekend basically to like do some fun stuff, and we were gonna plan it in advance, and then we're like, well, other people who've been travel for work, whatever, they said, well, the concierge at the hotel can normally set you up and kind of make it easy and set up. So we go to the concierge at the hotel, and it was like this guy that was literally like, oh, I set you up with like party bus and lady boys, and you're gonna get some jet skis, and we're just all like, oh my god, this
wait a minute, you offered me lady boys before you offered me to jet ski? Holy Christ!
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you know how to get your money.
So that was our joke. The whole rest of the thing was lady boys and jet skis. But so we're like, this clearly isn't going to work. We gotta do this ourselves. But we were working during the week, so we kind of planned this thing last minute. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna go down here, and we booked this room at this little hotel, and it said, we did see the caveat on there that it's only reachable by boat. So you got to take a flight. We were going to take a flight down there, and then you hop a boat over to this hotel. So we get done with work at like 6 o'clock. We go to the airport, and we get down to the Krabi airport at like 9:30 at night. So it's already dark out, and we don't really know where we're going. And this is like pretty far away from Bangkok. So the English speaking abilities have diminished quite significantly. So asking people was a lot more difficult. So we get out of the airport, and we're looking for a car. We know the name of the area. Well, that's the thing. I still don't even know if it's a town or like a name of a dock or what it was. We just kept telling people Ton Sai Bay. We need to get to Ton Sai Bay. And so, this lady at the airport like gets us. She's like, "Oh, you get you a taxi, get you a bus." So we're like, okay, fine. So we get on this bus, and we're waiting for like 40 minutes because they're like slowly loading passengers from the airport. And this is like, I wouldn't even call it a Greyhound bus. It is like something that you'd see. Just not a very nice bus, right? So we're all jammed in this bus, and we're waiting.
Is it that kind that we see in the movies where there's like chickens and?
Well, there wasn't wildlife since it was at the airport, but I feel like when it's not picking up from the airport, there is. So finally, they get all their passengers on, and they're trying to ask us where we're going. We're like, "Oh, we're going to Ton Sai Bay, and he's like, "Okay." We weren't convinced he really knew what we were saying, but we had like the ticket and the like image, so we could show him what we meant. So we start going. We're driving a little bit, and it starts getting more and more rural. And dude pulls off at a gas station, which I don't know. I've never been on a bus in the States, like a paid bus or a paid taxi, where the dude's just like, "Yeah, hey, I got to stop for some gas real quick." But whatever. I'm like, let him get his gas. So he fills up his gas, and then he runs inside to use the bathroom. So we're all waiting on the bus. Then we drive like another 10 minutes, more and more rural, and he like stops off at this like little like house on the side of the road, and he like gives the dude a package or some mail or something. I couldn't tell if he was like dropping off his laundry or he was delivering mail on his free time. I don't know what was going on. So, but we're all just kind of like keeping our cool. We're like, yeah, I mean, let's just see where this goes. We don't really know what's happening. So like an hour later, we get down to, well, we don't know. I still don't really know where it was, but it like gets real fast. There's no street lights. There's like almost no buildings. It's just like these little roads that, are kind of off in the middle of nowhere. And down there, it's fairly tropical. So it's mostly like jungle bush, right? And so he stops at this like effectively like a crossroads, like you'd see where you like make a deal with the devil. Like it's this little crossroad like in the middle of the jungle. And he like pulls over and opens up the door, and he's like, Ton Sai Bay. And we're like, we're like looking out the window. We're like, this isn't looking all like a bay. This like we're really afraid to get out. So we start making our way towards the front of the bus, and this dude on a moped comes up, and he's like screaming away at this guy, whatever, and he's giving us the thumbs up and like the wave to come with him. And we're like, what are we gonna like get on this dude's moped? Like, what's happening right now? And so we get up, and that was like the weird moment where we were like 1 foot on the bus and 1 foot off, and we're like trying to decide if we're really about to just get dropped in the middle of nowhere without speaking any Thai, and like we don't even really know where we're going aside from the name of the location, right? So we pull the trigger and we get off the bus, and the bus drives away, and so does the moped. He like says Tonsai Bay, and he just drives away. So we're standing like kind of in the dark, like at this crossroads. So we're
Tonsai Bay is Thai for "Ha, got you, sucker."
Yeah, kill me in the forest. So we're like, all right, I guess we need to follow that dude on the moped. He seems to be our connection point, whatever it meant. We need to follow the dude. So we start walking.
Someone was waiting for you. Someone knew you were coming, and they.
Yeah, I guess he was like the pickup point. I don't really know how they coordinated, but yeah, the little guy on the moped. So we go down this paved road, which we could see like led to this little like tin roof awning with some lights where some guys were sitting, and the moped guy parked. But he like wasn't in a hurry to help us. There was no desk for him to like go behind or no computer for him to turn on. He like parked the moped, sat down on a bench, and lit up a cigarette. We're like, okay, so
my job done.
So we go down this little street. And, we're still saying Tonsai Bay. That's like the only thing we know how to say. And the guy points us to this sign where it shows pictures of Thai longtail boats, which are those, the kind of famous boats you always see in the photos, the long wood ones.
Yeah.
It's like, so he points to this sign that has one of those, and it has some prices listed. And he's like, 1,200 for all, 1,200 for all. I'm like, okay, 1,200 baht, that seems about right, because we were doing a little bit of the little time we had, we were doing a little research, so we said we didn't feel like we were getting cheated, so we're like, okay, so we hand him 1,200 baht, which is like 45 bucks. So we give him 45 bucks, but we still don't even really know what's about to happen. Like we just are assuming that a boat's gonna take us to where we need to go, right? Because we didn't know that we needed to take a boat. So we give him money, and then he like leads us down towards the water where there's no lights at all. It's like so dark. You see these like silhouettes of these boats just like hovering in the water. And I've got like a rolly suitcase with me because we, were there for, it wasn't a big one, but it was still a rolly suitcase. Like, we get down to the water, and I'm like, okay, so we're getting in the water now. So like,
with your suitcase,
right? So I like roll up my pants, and I throw my suitcase over my shoulder, and we like jump in this wood boat, dude. Like, and they start, and all of these boats, I don't know, listeners who've been to Thailand, but these boats they've all been retrofitted because back in the day, I mean, this mode of transportation has been around for hundreds of years. And this has just like been their thing. But, in the more recent years, 50 to 100 years, they've been motorized. But they keep the aesthetic of the old Thai boat. And I'm assuming just because it's cheaper to like take motors from other equipment, they all have these like Mad Max looking like crazy, like punk engines that are like just sitting on the top of the back of the boat, like all exposed and like rattling and stuff. And then they have this really long pole that sticks out the back that has a little propeller on the back. So it's like they launch that thing, and there's no muffler on it. There's no nothing. It's not like a power boat in the States. It's like, it's like this thing. And it's like dead silent otherwise because it's the middle of the night and we're on like a remote bay. And just all you hear is this engine. And he starts to back off, and we all kind of look at each other. There's three of us. We all look at each other. We're like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
It's been nice knowing you.
Like, is he about to take us off to some Thai prison or something? And so, we start to go off into literally the pitch black. I mean, I'm sure you've been in an area where there's no city lights, there's no light pollution, and how dark it can be. And then on top of it, when there's very little reflection, because there's no hard surfaces, you're like on the water. It's just like black. So we start adding into like the blackness, and it was like no joke. I mean, I was scared, but I was also kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming everything's.
If I live through this is going to be a great story.
So, we start going out into the water, and then we start seeing these like really cool, like gigantic cliffs emerging out of the water. It's like, I don't know if anybody's seen pictures of this part of Thailand or like Vietnam looks like this. It's like these just massive rock cliff monument style things that like just pop out of the water. The whole coastline is like these gigantic cliffs. So we start seeing the silhouettes of these like cutting through the stars and the moon and whatnot. And I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And I start to relax a little bit. And he lights up a cigarette and he's just steering along, and we're going in the middle of the blackness, on the boat. So I kind of start to accept it, whatever. And then we turn around this like gigantic cliff edge, and then there in the distance beneath one of these massive like 500-foot cliffs, as you can see, I mean, it makes the buildings look miniature because these cliffs are so giant. We see like this tiny little resort with like some lights on, right? And we're like, oh, okay, so it does exist, right? So we like start heading towards it, and it's like a super dramatic entrance. I mean, considering everything we prepped through, whatever, and then you have these massive cliffs, and it's in the middle of the night. It's like it's really dramatic. It was kind of fun. And then we get like 30 feet from the shore, and he just banged, like scrapes the bottom of the boat on these rocks, and we all like fall to the side. We feel like we're gonna fall out into the water, and we're like, oh man, we were so close, and here we're gonna like drown or whatever. And he says something, I think he's cussing, and he backs up and maneuvers around or whatever, and he kind of goes off to the side, and then we go up onto the sand, and same thing, we get off into the water with the suitcase on your shoulder, and we like walk up to this really cute, really nice little hotel, and it was kind of like this surreal, bizarre, like, is that really like what just happened? And then the funny part, one of the funniest parts about it was the next morning when it was light out, and you kind of like get a real perspective of like what everything was, and it doesn't seem as scary I mean, it's still an amazing landscape, but it doesn't seem as adventurous or as daunting because you can see everything. But we go down to the beach, which is the original point of what you brought this up. The photo where we were having lunch, the area where they have breakfast is like it's right on the water, and it kind of looks off. It's kind of on a small cliff, and it looks off into the bay. And you look at the water, and it's super shallow. It's like probably no more than 4 feet deep, like at least 100 yards out. And I see all these like craggy rocks poking up, and I'm like, oh, well, no wonder dude hit this boat on the rocks. Like, it's not because we were gonna die. It's not because he's like a bad driver. It's literally, this is like a rocky bay. And then to top it all off, when we left on Sunday, 2 days later, we got we set up the exit boat with the hotel, Airbnb or whatever it was. They took us a totally different route, and it was like the most simple, like calm water, like easy, and then it drops you off in this like super touristy little dock right across from a McDonald's. So it's like the night we came in, they totally dropped us off at like the creepy one.
That's hilarious. I was hoping that you were going to say, so then we get up in the morning, we go outside, And on the other side of the hotel is where the bus stop was, where we first caught the bus.
Right, like we didn't need to get the boat at all.
You literally got a ticket for a ride. Yeah, that's happened. That's happened a few times to me. I think I just trust people way too easily. They're like, hey, you want to go do this? I'm like, yeah, okay. All of a sudden there's like a bank robbery happening. I'm like, I thought we were gonna get a sandwich.
Yeah.
When you first took your job, did they tell you you're going to be traveling?
They did. They mentioned that there might be light travel. Maybe once they said, just to kind of kick off the studio. But this has actually been my second time. But when I was interviewing, they said it will likely be our studio in Bangalore and our smaller studio in Paris. Or no, not in Paris, in the Provence, south of France. I was like, hell yeah, sign me up, right? Well, it wasn't like 2 months after I started, they're like, yeah, we're not working with the studio in Provence anymore. It's just going to be India, which is still great. I mean, but yeah, I was really looking forward to it.
It would have been cool to get at least one trip out there. I actually started looking for jobs like in Spain, in Germany. I'm like, man, things are crazy out here. I'm going to go to a different country where they don't know me.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. There's quite a few guys at the Thailand studio that are expats or, just kind of all over the world. I don't know. I just kind of find that interesting.
Yeah. I got that bug when I was in the Army. I was like, man, I really do like this traveling thing. I like going different places and harassing different people.
Yeah, and you always can use the I'm a foreigner excuse for,
That's right.
For pretty much everything. Right. Until they throw you on a boat and take you out into the black water, drop you overboard.
Right. Give me your luggage. All right. Trying to think of if you guys listening want quality entertainment, we had on Marco Bucci last week, and he's got these classes that you can buy, I believe, off of Gumroad.
Yeah,
I bought his class on basically working with brushes, not even just necessarily just Photoshop brushes either, just brushes in general, and his approach on basically how to put color down. So I picked that up. And I started watching it, but then I got wrapped up in trying to deliver on this project. And I want to be able to pay attention, so I haven't gotten through it yet. But the first video was really good, and I think you can get a lot of information off the free stuff on his channel too. Marco, Marco Bucci, Bucci. I think if you go to youtube.com/Marco Bucci, I think it'll take you right there. But even the ones that he has for for free on YouTube are, number one, super, super entertaining. Like he has these little sound effects, and he's got all the lessons that he puts up there are very well thought out and full of information. So highly, highly not subscribe. What am I trying to say?
Recommend.
Suggest, recommend. I highly recommend them. And again, he's not paying me to say that. I actually paid for the videos, and I'm excited because I think this project will be done tomorrow. So I'll be able to hang out with Marco for the rest of the weekend. And it's going to be glorious. And all of a sudden, all my goofy paintings will be like totally up there, totally badass. But I love his style. I've always been attracted to that super loose style. And then it's funny because my stuff, I always have line art, and the colors are pretty. Colors are pretty standard, pretty, colors. I'm always like, okay, well, here's green, here's the highlights, and here are the shadows. But I'm always intrigued by folks that can, like, they put the base color down, and then all of a sudden they're shading with a purple and a red, and then the highlights are made out of blue and other colors. Like, that stuff fascinates me to no end. And I swear I stopped eating popcorn. I'm still choking. So yeah, I'm trying to think of things that happened that you might have missed when you were traveling. Were you here for the Eva show?
What's that?
Were you here for the Eva show? No, you weren't. That's right. That was a really good show. It's the longest one we've done so far. It was so long.
It was like 3.5 hours or almost 4.
Yeah. It was so long that even Charlie was like, and you know how Charlie is. Charlie loves to talk. But even he was like, I gotta go to bed. I was like, hang on, she's calling another friend. We had so many people on that show. It was so good. Breakfast sketches is another loose style. Yeah, I agree. Dave Atsy says breakfast sketches on Instagram. And what's really cool about breakfast sketches is if you go towards it, and this is pretty much everyone who draws consistently, go towards the beginning of his feed. I'm assuming it's a him. But yeah, you can see this evolution that's happening. And now everything that dude does is just, as a matter of fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pull up his thing. That's a breakfast _ sketches. Yeah. All right. Oh, it's okay. Your boy got 2 new followers on Instagram. Here, let's go. Stop. Jeremy. There we go. Yeah, so it is. So yeah, check this dude out. his stuff is so, and it's amazing. It's just getting so good. He'll do this like on I think Procreate. Yeah, he did this in Procreate.
Yeah, the rendering is just so good.
I mean, come on, dude. I think it would be hilarious to see him do like a fun prompt because his brain is different. iPad art. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much drawing. His name is Jeremy Paulanen. Paulanen. Yeah. Yeah. Dude is sick. These cows, talking about sacred cows. These guys. A few close-ups from my collab with. She did the original. Let's see who this is. Single mom, I make stuff, lover of sea glass. All of a sudden we got like just we got a bunch of artist inspiration now. Ooh, look at sandwiches.
She makes those.
She said, what does she say? Maker of stuff. I make stuff. Yeah. So far I've seen everything from wood carvings, watercolor. This is really cool. Oh, she makes money too. Look at the detail in those $2 bills. Holy cow. Good job. Those look real. And that's why I don't get invited anywhere. Her stuff is cool too. Yep.
I watched a documentary one time about this guy who would draw money. I mean, he effectively was making counterfeit money, but it just was like, illustrated drawings.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he could actually use it as currency, not because it was so believable, which it was, but it was because he would go into he'd go into a store and be like, "Hey, I drew this," and they would basically be so impressed that he could trade. He could trade it. He could
work in the old days.
Right. He could basically just like trade that for something that he needed or wanted, right? And it's like, which is effectively, exactly how money works. But it's just funny that, he would be so upfront and honest. He's like, "Yeah, this isn't real. It's a counterfeit that I drew."
And then he got escorted into the jail cell.
No, he didn't.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where in history, because this happens to me a lot. I don't know where in history people decided Krishniak does morning scribbles. I'm going to take a look at them. Thanks, Noah. I don't know where in history artists decided or people decided to like screw over artists. I mean, back in the good old days, artists were you'd be commissioned to do really cool stuff and people actually respected you and paid you for your time and your talents and stuff. I want to know, if I had a time machine, I would go to that time where people are like, yeah, artists artists are going to start being taken advantage of now because what they do, let's just convince them that even though it's super important what they do, we should teach them that they're not important and we should take advantage of them every chance that we get. So I would go back in history to that point and then kick whoever that was in the nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point and question.
And the reason I would say kick him in the nuts is because it was a dude. It was a dude. Some dude was trying to do something and he just
said, I'm ahead of my time, but I'm going to invent this thing called Fiverr.
Yeah. Like just this, yeah, he doesn't. Go get him, Carlos. Thanks, Shiloh. Just like this week, some guy approached me, was like, hey, I'm starting my new company. I need help with a logo. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So we talked and then, I was like, all right, cool. So this is common knowledge. When I help a company out with a logo, I usually charge $500. And then you're like, well, why the hell would you do that? Well, because you're going to take time scribbling and doing all kinds of stuff. And the way that I do it is I say, okay, $500 flat rate. You get what we turn in or what I turn in, but it's a conversation. So I'm going to come up with a bunch of sketches. They're going to be super loose. I just want to see what you have going on in your head. And then from those sketches, you point me in the direction that you want to go. Do you want something with a lot of circles? Do you want something with a lot of lines? Do you want a design or do you want the words? Those are the kinds of things that I try to get out of them. That first conversation and then the first set of drawings, right? And then if you can, you meet with them face to face with a whole bunch of sketches, and then that way you can talk and see what it is that and the more you talk to these folks, the more they're going to give you all the information that you need to proceed. And so I'm talking to this guy. He's like, how much is it going to be? And I said, $500, half up front, half, when we're done. And then you'll have your logo, you'll be out and successful. And then when you need anything else, you come back to me. All right, cool. So he sends me $100. And I wrote to him,
not quite half up front.
And I wrote back and I said, hey, I don't know. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, but I thought I said $500. Half up front, la, la, la. And so he goes,
see, the way that my bank account works is...
yeah, the way my bank account is set up. And I was just like, I know this dude is not trying to be slick because I've known this guy for years, and he's been wanting to work with me because he's seen my previous work, la la la. And he's actually had we've almost worked together on client projects together and stuff. So so I wanted to be careful, but then I was like, yeah, so, sorry if I wasn't clear, which I know I was, but, you always want to take the blame when you're dealing with stuff because you don't want to let your client, you don't want to call out your client and be like, look, you big liar, because then they might actually have money for you. And so, yeah, and so dude was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I heard $100." But I was like, "Look, I don't get up out of bed early for $100. It's just not gonna happen." um so yeah, so I mean, and eventually it was cool. Like we put down the deposit and I worked on it and blah blah blah. So you guys will see a new logo here soon enough. But um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who started that whole screw artists over. But if I do anything with my life, it's to show artists that you are not out here by yourself. You are not out here to help someone succeed as they take advantage of you. That's just not your job. Because you're going to spend time on their stuff, and their stuff is going to make them money. And it's amazing how many people come up to me and say, "Oh yeah, because I know this person, I know that person, all these people with all this money, right? Oh, and all this stuff and everything's going to be great. You should work." And I was like, "Just so let you know, don't finish your sentence. I don't work for free. I don't do spec work, any of that stuff. Like, unless we have a solid relationship, because I do have a couple clients now that I'll work and I'll do a bunch of stuff and I'll just send it to them because I know that they're good for it."
Yeah.
But if you just met me and you kind of like my work and you've seen that I've done some pretty cool stuff with some really cool people, la la la, that doesn't mean that you get to take advantage of me. Because for as hard as I've ever tried to, I can't walk into a grocery store and get groceries and just, smile. Like, no one has ever said, "Hey, I really like your smile. You get your groceries free today." It's never happened. So then how the hell am I going to sit here, not work on my stuff, help you work on your stuff for free? Not going to happen.
Right.
Not going to happen. And I think that's that's a really good point to make too. Like, if you're an artist and you have your own stuff constantly going, it's going to feel like other people's work is going to get in the way of your work and of getting to your projects. So you're going to kind of go in with a little bit of an attitude. You're going to be like, "Man, I could be working on my stuff." So yeah,
Yep.
you have to pay me to stop working on my stuff.
You better pay me to stop working on my stuff. Can you do this for $15?
Let me see the $15, and you snatch their $15 and you take off running.
That was just for me dealing with this conversation. If you want work done, then we got to talk about payment.
Right. It costs you $15 for that stupid ass question. All right, so my kid is angry. He's like on strike.
Should be.
He's like,
he's a swamp dude having to shovel snow.
That's what's funny. It was super cold in Florida this year, and my mom kept taking like pictures of the thermometer and of the forecast, and she kept saying, "I didn't move out here for this." I thought it was hilarious. It was one of the coldest winters in Florida in a long time. I mean, I want to say it snowed in North Florida.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I remember there was a sign that had a little bit of snow on it that said "Welcome to Florida." So yeah, it snowed in Florida this year, and my mom is just so angry. I didn't sign up for this. I felt bad.
No, you didn't.
No, not really. I sent her a picture of the sun out here.
Yeah, people got dumped on this week. I don't know what's going on, but
Did it snow in?
yeah, freaking April and it's snowing. And
Oh yeah, back home. Yeah, Ryan Brockmeyer. He was out here for my birthday. But then he got back home and he sent me a picture. He was on his way to work, and he went outside, and then was snowing. He said, "Oh my God, it's April. Stop it already." And I like it when I wish it would snow here. Noah, where are you? Are you down in LA? But yeah, I'm like, I am good on, I'm good on snow. You'll see me go to like Tahoe and stuff for skiing.
oh, it's like a controlled snow.
Right. That's because I choose to see snow. That's different. But like when I was back home, um, I remember I was so right before I moved back to LA. I was so angry that the weather was bad and it was only October. Like the bad
I
weather had
remember that. Yeah,
just started. And I'm like, screw this. I'm done. And then I just pulled up.
yeah.
Can't do it. I can't live like this.
It's pretty brutal. It can get pretty nasty.
Ah. And then I had the bright idea of going to adopt Lucy. So now I have to go outside and let her out and do all that stuff. And I'm like, no, this isn't for me. I'm way too old and grumpy for this.
Yeah, I remember Sydney, my first dog, she'd sit and wait by the door to go outside, and I'd let her out, and she would go out there so fast and like be just like running all quick, hopping through the snow, peeing out, and run back up. I'm ready to come back in. I'm ready to come back in.
That's it. Yeah, I taught Lucy how to go by herself. I would stand by the door and wait for her and stuff, but yeah, she would do that same thing. She would run out. Like, how do you even concentrate that good? You got to concentrate way too much to like go outside and do your thing.
Like, why do you all get to pee inside?
And it was funny because poor Lucy she would go outside, but the snow was deeper than her legs were tall. Next to Riverside. Oh, I know. Yeah, I have a sister that lives in Corona. Actually, no, she's in Riverside now. Cool. Very cool. I gotta come out to LA soon. I gotta come visit.
You'll be here for what's it called? Ground Zero.
That's right. Hey, we're gonna be tabling at Ground Zero. Let me ask you guys this. You guys that are watching live, and even if you come back and watch this later, if you want to comment on the video, please do so. What kind of stuff should we bring? This is my first time tabling anywhere. What should we Dave Atsy tables at Comic Cons all the time, but he has so much stuff. What kind of stuff would you guys be interested in taking home? I know I have Sketch Zone magnets. I have stickers. What else? We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. So I want to see what you guys would be interested in. I'm thinking about bringing my computer down. I'm trying to think. You got a couple books. A few books.
I got books and some posters. Prints.
Noel, are you going to go to Ground Zero? Noel said your sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
I might. I could be very easily talked into doing that because I love feeding people. It's a weird thing.
The way you phrase that, the way you phrase that, it sounds like a fetish. I love feeding people.
I love feeding people to sharks. No, it's weird. Like I don't know if it's a culture thing. It probably is a culture thing, but especially in my family, when you walk through the door, it's, did you eat? You want some coffee? And you're like, yeah.
We'll have more. Here's some more. Look like you haven't been eating.
Yeah.
You never had my coffee.
No, because my daughter doesn't do well at events like that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
You never had my gelato.
I don't know. Well, I'll let you know how I do in events like that. I like going to these things, but yeah, sometimes, and it's not even. No, it's crowds. I don't really like crowds too much, but it's not even like if it's a well-mannered crowd, I'm fine. It's just those crowds where people don't think things all the way through when they do them. And I know that I've complained about these folks before, but just like the person that you're walking into the grocery store and they stop and they look around, and then you bump into them because they stopped right in the doorway. Mm-hmm. There's people that'll just stop in the middle of the walkway because of whatever it is that they're trying to do without really thinking it all the way through. Like if you took 2 steps to the right, you would be out of the way and no one would really care. I just don't get it. People's what would that be called? Their self-awareness or their awareness of their own body is just, I don't know what it is with people sometimes. Maybe I'm just cranky.
No, I can't stand that either.
Those people are why I have cart rage.
Heart rage. I love it. I love that.
I'm telling you. The greatest thing that happened to my health was Christmas shopping on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have to want to choke somebody at Christmas time. And what sucks is, I'm kind of a big guy. So if I bump into people, chances are they're going to bounce off of something.
Chances are they're going down.
And for the most part, I don't want to hurt people, so there's a lot of responsibility. The bigger you are, the more responsibility you have to not hurt people on accident.
Man, well, then they need to get out of the way.
Yeah, they got to learn. Okay, why are you not lining up anymore?
How are we doing on runtime? I should keep today to about 2 hours.
I think we started close to 9. It was like maybe 10 after. Knock him over. I like Noelle. I like where her brain's at. I see you, girl. I see you, girl. I shop on Black Friday. Oh, no, don't do that.
Oh, the Black Friday. That's
Black Fridays, yeah.
I did that, I think.
Black Fridays do not mix.
I think maybe I did that once or twice in my entire life.
Yeah. All I need is for someone to step on my toes because they're trying to reach for like a 36-inch TV or something. Like, I'll reach that for you. Just don't step on my feet.
Hey, wait, what was that tool you just had up?
This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the can you see the top of my no, you can't. Why not? What if I bring this down? Nope. How about if I bring this down? No, it's not. Wow, that's interesting. It's only showing the drawing canvas. Hang on, let me see if I can change that.
You have to show up the whole screen, not just the app window.
Oh, here we go. Bam, this guy. Yeah, can you see? No, it's still. Oh wait, what if I click there? Yeah, okay. There you go. That's that guy right there. The ellipse.
No, well, I know that, but you had it up, and then when you were drawing, was it snapping to it?
Yeah. That's what's cool about that. Man, listen.
There's a lot I don't know about Sketchbook.
Sketchbook Pro or Sketchbook, whatever you want to call it, has so many wonderful things. So yeah, so you put this guide up and you place it wherever you want it. And then when you draw, it doesn't even matter. Like look at where the cursor is versus where the stroke is happening. It follows it so nicely. And then you can grab the French curve. You can move that around. But then check this out. You can size it up and down.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's just going to draw along that curve. But then if you're like, yeah, that's fine, but it's not really the curve I was looking for, you click that button right there and it changes it. What? Come on.
Well, you've got the other ones, yeah.
And then you do like that. What? Come on. This would be really fun to just sit here and come up with some scribbles.
Some abstract scribbles and then make something of it. That's I was doing those for a while. The fill in the shape ones. That what's that artist's name?
Yeah, I wanted to do them, but I know Dave Atzi had sent them to me, and
yeah, Dave does them. It's like Donald Trump's hair. And since you painted him orange.
That guy.
That guy.
And then let's see what else. There's obviously the perspective tool in Sketchbook.
Yeah, that one I've used.
Is so obnoxiously nice. It's so easy. It's so easy.
And I like that it doesn't have like a big obnoxious grid in the way.
Yeah.
It's just doing it. It tells you because of the 3D cursor.
And this fisheye one is bananas too.
Yeah, that's cool.
sit here forever doing this stuff. We should start a new Instagram account and call it Curves for Days.
That's all it is. Just zoning out to curve drawings.
Look at that.
Now, how do you do the line inwards towards vanishing? There.
The what?
So now that you have the fisheye,
Yeah.
say you wanted to do a perspective line towards the center or towards one of the vanishing points, how do you do the non-curve?
Shoot, this is a really cool business logo. I might have to charge someone some money for this one.
$15.
So what it is you put the pen down and it waits for you to make a move, and then depending on how you move it, now all of a sudden it doesn't want to.
You're outside the circle.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, come on. Yeah.
So it's just knowing whether or not you're drawing a curve or a line.
Yeah. You have to be deliberate with the direction where you move your pen. So if I want to go towards the center dot, I try to be super deliberate to move in that direction. Because if you're not, then it'll take the curve.
Right. And you can draw towards the outer perspectives too.
Yeah, so if I'm in the middle.
Oh no, but that's so. There you go.
Yeah.
Ah, look at that! It curves that.
Oh.
Oh. I guess that's what you have been doing for the.
I try. Let me tell you, for as much as I like Photoshop, Sketchbook's got this thing figured out.
I finally bought Photoshop CC after all these years it's been out.
What?
It's been like 3 years now they've had that out. I've been running it on CS6 or 5 or something for ages. And
What made you take the
Well, actually, Lightroom Mobile. Of all things, I've been using Lightroom CC Mobile, and I really kind of like it. And then so I was playing with the trial, and then I was like, okay, I feel like I can subscribe to this. And then I went on Adobe's website, and I realized you get Lightroom and Photoshop in the same package for only $10 a month. So I don't I don't have the full suite. I'm not ready to pay that kind of cash every month. I'll use my old CS whatevers.
Yeah.
Considering Photoshop's kind of the main one I use,
Right.
Though I wouldn't mind getting my hands on After Effects.
Yeah, I've been surprisingly enough. Let's see. Well, on actual Thanksgiving, but they call it Black Friday. Oh, I see. Looks like smoke fog. That would be around a villain, the way the curves are. You get crazy DMs with that idea. Yeah. Curves for Days would get some straight up crazy DMs. What were we talking? We were talking about Photoshop. There's a couple tools that I use in Photoshop that help bring Photoshop to the next level. Oh, perfect. Here we go. This is a little drawing I was doing earlier. These are the two. Coolerus, which is an amazing color picker. And then you can get like mixers, and you can do all kinds of really cool things with this. but real quick, you can go in here, pick your base color, and then get the shade of it. Draw it down. Then they have all these little selections over here on the top right. So if you want just just want the one color, you can have the complementary schemes, tritones, la la la. So, so if you come around here and then you can mess around. So that's the one. I like this one. But no, it was the try one. Yeah. I like that. And then brush box. I don't understand how Photoshop doesn't already do
I don't
this.
either, man. It drives me insane that it doesn't already have that.
And I wonder, no, I don't wonder. It makes me laugh that they made such a big deal. Oh, look, we made this new brush panel that's oh so wonderful. You can group things. Well, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't come close to Brushbox. For the simple fact that if I was looking for, let's say, a watercolor, I can start typing watercolor and
yeah, the fact you can have like at this point I've got like hundreds of brushes that I've collected over the years, and it's like, how are you gonna? And the thing is some of these guys who create these brushes don't name them very well. They're like squiggly lago watercolor, and you're like, you're never gonna remember that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you got a search function is just everything.
And you can break it down by name or kind.
Kind refers to. Okay, there we go.
And then you got brush presets, brush tool, eraser tool, pencil tool, la la la. And then you can load. It's so much faster to get to the whatever this is called. Brush settings. There you go. And then you can have your favorites, which I just have a folder for favorites. But yeah, and then you can right click. If I wanted to move that one, I can right click on it, and then move it to a different group. I can create a new group. There's other things here too. I forget what it was. You can change the look of it. There was something like you can. Oh, you can color the things different colors.
That's cool.
Yeah. All my favorites are going to be red. So I have regulars, I have pencils, inkers, dry media, imported brushes, texture brushes. So yeah, those two things have made Photoshop so functional for me. Oh, and then another thing. Here's just an incredibly simple pro tip. When you have a Cintiq and even any kind of tablet, mess with the pressure sensitivity, because I found that I think I pressed a little too hard. So my brush was getting so big and so whacked out so fast. So then what I did is I turned that, I guess, down, the pressure sensitivity down. So now if I want a big, so now the pressure is kind of normal. And so I'm able to just draw normally, and it doesn't get whacked out so easily. Yeah, I don't know. Something so simple just was a game changer. Especially in Photoshop, because Photoshop, the brush engine is super subtle. You can get like way too much color, way too much pressure, super, super fast. And then when I finally started adjusting the pressure sensitivity, then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I can get down with this now.
Yeah, that's a good tip because I definitely press too hard on the pen. And there's some, yeah, every app or program is a little bit different in the way they handle it. So rather than trying to calibrate it per program or whatever, it's best to just kind of do it. You mentioned overall.
You know, it'd be cool one of these days when we do another fun prompt, just do it all in like a fisheye.
It'd be challenging. Could be interesting, depending on.
So whatever the fun prompt is, if the fun prompt is a swamp monster shoveling snow, we can put being watched by a fish.
Would have worked with your snow globe effect.
That's true. I should have thought it all the way through before I got lazy. One thing I wish Sketchbook did have is in Photoshop, you can sample all layers when you're doing the coloring.
Yeah.
I mean, the quick way to do it in Sketchbook is you duplicate your ink layer, and then on the layer underneath, you go in with the color. Let's see. Dude's going to be like crazy green. So that's a fast way of doing it. I think I want to get back into like super bright stuff. Is that good? Maybe a little brighter. And again, the cool thing about Sketchbook is you can change colors so many different ways. Here's the color wheel. You get the swatches. You get your little color puck. You click on that. You get the color mixer. You get the eyedrop tool, or you can even get colors this way too. They really, oh, and then you can come down here too. They just really made things super, super, super easy. All right, let's see. Boop, boop. Dude is a little grinchy, this guy.
He's looking real pissed.
He's like, I did not sign up for this. My mom's gonna see this and she's gonna be like, what are you trying to say, dude? was I just talking to? Oh, what should we call it?
Happen?
I was having a conversation, but I want to make sure that I'm talking about the right person because I was having a bunch of conversations right before. Okay, so no, it wasn't in Facebook Messenger. Oh, there it is. So I joined this group. We should probably do like a software breakdown on this too, but there's this open source free software called Storyboarder.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own Facebook group now. So I joined it today, and Landon Wilson, he was joking around with me on there. They finally approved me, and I wrote on their wall, I said, "Thank you for letting me in." And Landon said, if I would have known, I would have told them not to. Then he was saying that he started a character design class yesterday. They're putting the storyboards I was doing on the back burner. I'll be listening to see if you guys talk about it on SketchZone. So what were we talking about that made me think of Landon? When fish and humans switch places. Ha, that's a good one too. Dude, Noel is on the Johnny on the spot with good ideas. Oh, yeah, we were talking about storyboarding. What were we talking about right before I got derailed? I'm doing dark green. What if I don't do dark? No, that's fine. I'm not going to overthink this guy.
Do you want to do inspiration?
Do you want to do inspiration? Yeah, I can. As a matter of fact, I am ready.
You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration.
I was jamming. I got this one from Noel, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
friend of a friend of a friend of a friend.
Chris Reiniak.
I don't know. I recognize that little logo, I think.
That's a super cool logo or profile pic, whatever it is.
Oh, yes. I have seen him. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like...
This is when Morning Scribbles. There you go. We were talking about breakfast sketches, and this guy's name popped up. So I looked him up, and I was like, oh, yeah, makes a lot of sense. There's his or her family, because now that I look at it's Chris, but it could be Chris. What? They got toys too? Man, those are cute.
Some little cute things sell like crazy.
I wonder where... There's been a few people that have asked me for Robin Choopy toys. I'm like, man, I don't... Number one, there's like 2 of you have ever asked for it. Number 2, I don't even know where to begin for that. But I'm not going to lie. I'd be down to
Shapeways does a pretty good job, but they're not going to be painted.
They have a site with shirts, etc. Cool. I'm gonna take a look at that too.
My God,
This is super
funny.
cute.
This needs to be a TV show.
Right.
Whatever these crazy little characters are. Like a whole universe of
Yeah.
these silly looking things.
Look at that. That's way cool.
Yeah.
Their monsters are legit. So cool. Oh. That's what my coffee machine looks like.
I wish I had one.
Right.
Good morning.
How's about some coffee?
Oh man, that's like old school like Ninja Turtles looking stuff.
Right. Oh, and they're on Twitch too. Gonna be following them on Twitch. So yeah, Chris Reiniak.
Very cool stuff. I love that.
Yeah, I love it's. The eyes remind me of looking into space. Yeah, I agree. Is that and it's tough to get really good eyes too. But Chris's eyes are. Look at. Chris's eyes are awesome.
Oh shit! I have a whole bunch of these things. They got a deal on them.
Update sold out. Too late. Damn it. Very nice. Anyway, yeah. So thank you, Noel, for.
I like it. I like that one.
Thank you, Chris. Brenda. There we go. Brenda Wood.
Angarumpel.
So it's a legit thing.
Bindlewood. Is that like the name of the place that all these characters live, or is that the name of this shop of? Yeah. Oh, who's Amanda Louise Spade? His girlfriend, wife, business partner.
Let's find out. Amanda Louise Spade.
Mixed media.
Mixed media. And there's Chris. And there's Steve. Steve looks like maybe a swamp monster shoveling snow. What is it? Swamp monster.
I like these guys. I like it.
We're going deep. Oh,
I've
these
seen
are
her.
so cool.
I've seen Dust Bunnies. Okay, that's why he looked so familiar. Because I've seen her work. Okay. Yeah, she does the ones with the teeth. Yes.
And those are real teeth.
Don't even say that. That's nasty.
No, I think they are. Look at. I mean,
They might be like porcelain and like from fake. What are those like dentures or whatever?
could you imagine you make this whole toy and then you take the toy to the dentist and be like, "Can you just put some teeth in here?" And the dentist is like, "Why, yes. Yes,
Those
I
do
can."
look real.
They look real AF. Those not so much.
Man, look at her getting her sculpting on.
I know. That's another thing I run out of time in the day.
These little puppety things. I love the puppet things. Weird puppet characters.
Blueberry.
And Bindlewood needs to be a real place. I think Bindlewood needs a TV show.
Noel said, I don't know. There are people who make jewelry out of real teeth. I mean, I've seen people make shark tooth necklaces and stuff, so I don't know what there's people out there that would do that. These are super cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, that's how we go down rat holes. Go look at Chris Reiniak, and then all of a sudden, here.
You're down looking at 17 other people.
Dr. A. No human teeth. So there, check him out. It's Chris, Chris Rhyniak. Ryniak.
All right. So let's see. In the spirit of talking about traveling,
Travelicious.
here's someone from Bangalore, Studio Gumani, GUMANI.India.in. Illustrator. Let's find the about first. Who she is. Professional illustration and creative studio based in
Bangalore.
But pretty cool stuff. Nice wide range. I like that there's these kind of standard. I hate to even use the word standard, but they remind me of like the stuff you kind of go to art school and learn to become an illustrator for. You know, it's that very like illustratory stuff. But then she's got all these botanical things. Which I always liked. She does like educational bird studies. And then she apparently sells at a market because she's got stickers, pages from what looked to be a sketchbook. And then she's done a bunch of murals, which are pretty cool.
That's cool.
Tiger one's going to be cool.
Did you ever do that mural in LA?
No, you know, that guy fell through. He kind of, I was ready to go. I actually was hunting him down, trying to get that to happen. Just it never.
Yeah.
And then she also makes stuff out of, I mean, she's all over the place. She makes stuff out of cut paper. I'm like, I don't even know what this is made out of. It looks, I think it's cut paper. Yeah, the arms and legs are cut.
But the body, is that brass or is that all paper?
Well, there's a piece of metal in the box, but it looks like the box is made of paper and the bug is made of paper.
Yeah.
And then she does those cool, like 3D layered diorama things.
Way cool.
She's just making all.
I like that. It makes you wonder. At least makes me wonder, like, how much cooler would a lot of stuff be if we didn't have TV?
Yeah, you know, that's actually a really good pondering.
Or like chasing after friendships and relationships and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people, I guess that's the tortured, lonely person thing. Like you're really good at art, but then you're like secluded and you're by yourself all the time.
So yeah, Studio Gumani, Gumani. She's also on Instagrams. Here you go. I'll have to pull up the Instagrams. Gumani B.
She only has 42
But
followers. Well, she doesn't have any posts.
She hasn't posted anything yet, so don't follow her on Instagram. Screw that.
Noel said, but without TV, would there be any social media?
That's a good point. Hard to know.
I guess it's that balance. You know what whenever I'm watching TV, I have to have something with me. Because otherwise...
Yeah, I get a little bored with just the TV. But maybe that's the way we've all been trained to kind of do 20 things at once. And
yeah, that's true too. Without TV, we definitely wouldn't have the Kardashians. which could be a good thing.
He may not have Donald Trump either.
Take that, Kanye. And Chicago West.
But we wouldn't have Sanford and Son and All in the Family.
Oh, so true. I take it all back. We need to be Sanford and Son, Good Times, and What's Happening.
Yeah. All in the Family. I'm even going to say Cosby Show. I don't.
All in the Family.
It's still a good show.
Yeah. You know,
I Love Lucy.
I was somewhat struggling with that. Because you know, people like Cosby, he was doing so much good for the world, and then he's just creepy. But does that take away from the good that he's done?
I mean, in a way, yeah. But no.
Like he can. I will forever and I will always love Picture Pages.
Yeah.
If he ever came out with anything else, I'd be like, man, kick rocks, dude. We see you. But yeah, that's just so unfortunate that he really ruined everything. He's such an idiot.
Yeah, well, on that note.
Yeah. Oh, Cosby. Hey, Jack. If people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
They can find me on an airplane. It's where I've been the past 25 days. No, sketchbookjack.
On a boat on a rocky shore.
On a boat, on an airplane, in a car, on a bus, on some mode of transport. You can find me at sketchbookjack.com. It's sketchbookjack on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else.
And Charlie, who is usually here, you can find Charlie at cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. Twitter is CBW3. I think his Instagram is Charlie. We're going to have to talk to him about consistency.
He's got a lot of them.
And the tricky thing with him is sometimes it's Charlie B. Williams, sometimes it's CBW3, sometimes it's Charlie BW3.
It's always different.
That's it. We're gonna have to talk to Charlie. The next show, we talk to Charlie about his inconsistency. And
just Google him; he comes up.
Yeah, just Google him. I'm Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com or coconutjustice.com. Coconut Justice everywhere else. Sketch Zone. You would think that I would have everything, but I don't. So just go to sketch.zone, and we have a whole bunch of content there for you guys to enjoy. And then we also have links to everything because we're everywhere. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, the fun prompt is a swamp monster shoveling snow. And if you draw it, tag us on Instagram and make sure that you tap where it says tag people and tag Sketch Zone Podcast on Instagram. And then we'll show it, we'll show your work on the show.
Yes. And don't forget, come see us at Ground Zero.
Ground Zero, GZEExpo.com.
Don't forget it's free, so you have no excuse.
Seriously.
The plane tickets aren't free, so I get it. But
right.
If you're local, you got no excuse.
Once you're there,
no excuse.
Yeah. From what I understand, there's like a McDonald's right around the block. We'll go get some fries. Ooh. Now we're talking about food. You know how I get when we talk about food.
Carlos is going to make his sandwiches.
Carlos will make Cuban sandwiches. And then I'll have to tell you guys about my rosemary lemon sourdough bread that is absolutely outrageous. But
I'm ready for that.
Until then, everyone, have a wonderful week.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Subscribe. Remember to subscribe. Someone's a foodie. Yeah, in a big way. Anyway, all right, guys. Have a good week.
See ya.